Hi, my name is Reagan, and this is my story. And I'm from Aurora, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicagoland area. I have grown up in church because my father is a UPCI pastor. From kindergarten up until 6th grade, I was in a private school. But during that 6th grade year of private school, I remember I was bullied, and so bullying led to me starting that depression, and I started self-harm because I just wanted to feel something. I got to the point where I couldn't feel anything. Complete apathy is when it drains you of all emotion. So just to feel something, I would harm myself. Even that little sharp prick of pain was something that I could feel, and it would kind of wake me up. So after that, I told my mom I was struggling with self-harm, and so they started homeschooling me and my brothers, and then that kind of just took me away from my friends. So I didn't really have anybody to talk to, so it kind of made matters worse, but better in some ways. So I started at 12, and then from 13, 14, 15, I didn't really talk to people in my youth group. I didn't really know them on an interpersonal level, mainly because I didn't want to go out of my way to do anything. I was scared of opening up and scared of getting to know people. So the buildup of that led to me feeling alone, even though I wasn't, even though there was people around me who loved me. I was so tired of feeling alone and feeling lost and hopeless that I just kept saying over and over in my mind, I'm gonna do it this week. I'm just gonna kill myself. Whenever I cried out, Lord, help me not kill myself. Lord, help me not kill myself. Lord, help me not kill myself. I thought that nobody heard me, but that day, God actually reached into my life, and through somebody in my church, I was able to express how I was feeling, my hopelessness. And starting in that moment, God was able to start changing who I was, and He gave me a purpose for my life that I didn't see before. There's a lie about depression, is that you're going through it alone and that no one's there for you. But the friendships and the people who were there for me that were older than me or younger than me, that were there for me in my moments of depression and suicidal thoughts, that is really what made a difference in me realizing that though I feel alone, that I'm not alone, and that there are people who love me, who want the best for me, that aren't even related to me, that know me maybe on a Sunday to Sunday basis, but they care truly about who I am, about what I'm going through. I remember that was the starting point where I realized that there was more for me than what I had thought, and that I was valued and had a purpose. But of course, it doesn't just stop in a moment. I know that happens for some people, but it didn't for me. And I was soon after hospitalized in a mental hospital for a week, and then I was in outpatient care for a month. And through that time, learning different therapies and strategies to cope with anxiety and depression, the thing that really made a difference in my life was my relationship with God, and the church continually reaching out to me and making sure that I felt loved. So even now, sometimes I struggle with anxiety, and right now I don't struggle with depression, but without that moment that started changing my direction in life, I wouldn't be here today. And sometimes in our broken moments is when God can repiece us into what He wants us to be, and we can find joy beyond anything we could ever imagine. When you're depressed, you can't really remember what it's like to be happy, or sometimes you forget what it's like to smile, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you allow someone in to see that hurt and to see that pain, then you can start making your way towards something better. If I could say anything to myself when I was in my darkest moments, I would say that you're not alone, that you are loved, that you don't have to face this alone, that it's okay to be broken.
What role did the United Pentecostal Church play in all of this in your story?
I was asked to speak for a church service, just a small 5-minute thing. I wasn't the main speaker, which is great. I didn't want to be, but I felt like that if there's one person who can hear my story and think there's another option for their life, if somebody can see me and see hope, that they don't have to be in this pit of despair, that you can see through it, and even if you can't see through it, that there are people who will help you until you get to that point. Then no matter how many times I cry on camera, no matter how many times I have to live through it again, and no matter how many times that I have to remember, is that the darkest moments in my life, if they can be the light at the end of the tunnel for somebody else, then I'll do it every day. So the UPCI church, and my church specifically, without them I wouldn't be here today, without their support and their love and knowing that I'm not alone.
What kind of feedback did you get from that initial, when you first told that story, your story?
Well, the first time, it was kind of like people were surprised. I'm usually a happy-go-lucky, kind of energetic person. I was able to connect with people that I never thought had gone through suicidal thoughts or depression in their way and make connections with people.
How many times have you been able to share your story since then? Do you have any sort of idea?
Yeah, I've spoken about it once, and then I wrote about it in a women's magazine once, and then I've been able to actually talk to my coworkers and talk to other girls in the church who are young and struggling with depression and anxiety, and kind of be there for them, let them know that they're not alone, that I can relate to them. It's okay, you'll make it through it. You can make it to where I am. You can make it past this stage in your life. And I know it's easy to say, it's harder to live, but sometimes only that little bit of hope is what people need.
Going forward, do you see yourself continuing to share your story and talk to people about this?
If anybody wants to hear it, or if anybody needs to hear it, then I would be more than happy to help share what God has done in my life and what God can do in somebody else's. No matter what you think church is like, or you think church people are like, there's stigmas, and it's kind of like a hands-off thing sometimes, is that when you don't know the culture or the people, is that if you're looking for someone to be there for you, and if you're looking for someone to love you, and you're tired of living life the way it is right now, you don't have to. Is that find your local UPCI church, get connected. We would love to have you.